up, man?
What's going on, man? It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Is that how it goes?
Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Wonderful
It's
day.
a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I don't even remember.
I don't remember what it is either.
Are you old enough to remember?
I am.
That
and
show. What
now
was the
you got
name
me
of the show?
thinking.
What was the name of the show?
Rogers.
Oh, he got it. I didn't even know it. So you actually
Rogers?
saved me there, Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Rogers.
No, but it's called Mr. Rogers something, right?
100%.
Oh man, I don't know. I used to watch a lot of Rugrats, and Power Rangers, dog.
Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy the Red Ranger.
Oh, Tommy's the Green Ranger.
Green Ranger. You're
Come
right.
on now.
Yeah.
He was the White Ranger first.
The White Ranger first. Yeah. And then, okay.
No, he was Green Ranger first. That's what it was. Green Ranger.
And
then he was the evil. He was the evil Green Ranger that was tearing. He came in. I remember him coming in, tearing up the Power Rangers. He was whooping them every day, whooping. I think he whooped them for a while, and then finally turned to the good side and became the White Ranger.
The White Ranger. That's right.
That's what it was.
Tommy.
So yeah.
That stuff's been weirdly spiraling the social media. Like they're showing like the Pink Ranger, like your first crush.
Oh no! Come on, Ranger. Trinity,
dog.
Trinity was the one, bro.
Oh my goodness!
What was it? Ivan Ooze. They had the Ivan Ooze episode or Ivan Ooze movie, and she's like fighting some of his like goons or whatever. And she's just like, you make me sick, and started kicking this dude. And she said it like 6 times. And he kept hitting the roof and coming back down. Bro.
You had to dip back into those old things, man.
I already do. You know, I put my kids on game, bro. We were watching Digimon recently.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they don't know about Digimon, man. Put you guys up on game.
Oh,
Pokemon's competition. I don't understand how it fell off so much, but it was pretty good. I was into Digimon.
Really? The one that me and my brother were into was Zoids. Have you ever heard of Zoids?
Oh, yeah. Zoids. That was on Toonami. Though back in the day.
Yeah,
Tsunami.
Me and my brother used to watch that like crazy, and we just ask people all the time, and they're like,
"What are you talking
even heard about that show?"
Especially like the Japanese one, the actual Asian version of it, right?
Yeah, the Liger.
They had the Liger, bro.
Yeah.
That Liger was sick,
so
too.
tight.
Especially
could you imagine having a big ass bot like that's just a Liger, you know?
That was pretty epic, bro. That was like when Gundam Wing was out. Like that's all the classic stuff right there.
Man, childhood of good cartoons.
Heck yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. All right, man. Yeah. So today we're gonna be bringing on one of my good friends and training partners for a long time, Mario Battleborn Bautista.
Battleborn.
Yeah,
that's a sick name.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. Yeah, we're gonna have to get that from him and figure out where that came from.
Battleborn.
Heck yeah, we're bringing him in.
Let's get him.
Thanks for having me. Definitely, man.
All right, man. Get your buy-in. You got to spin.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Anyway, right?
Yep.
Anyway, oh man, you go counterclockwise. Counterclockwise.
Maybe that's the trick. Maybe that's the trick to not get a pint chug.
Ooh. You want that? Oh my god. You might get it. Oh, that's not bad. Maybe.
Jumping jacks, there it is. All right.
Yeah, that's good. You're in the middle of training anyway.
He's like, oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
The pint? I don't know.
Maybe you turn it to burpees then.
Yeah, no,
10 burpees.
I don't know. I think he's got 10 burpees, no problem either. You know? 10 of any of those, you know. I don't think they're gonna do it. We're gonna have to up the. We're gonna have to up the ante.
I definitely have to warm up though. That's for good.
No warm up. Just come in, throw your shin pads on, and get after it.
Yeah.
I'd be down to move some tables, watch that man throw down a little bit.
Yeah,
imagine how the sound in here. It sounds sick.
It probably would.
Yeah.
It's so funny bringing that up because that's what I literally do sometimes. And Kyler keeps giving me crap about it because he'll show up late sometimes too, and I'll show up late and I'll just be like throwing shin guards right on. He's like, bro, no warm up or nothing. And I'm like, nah, bro. What do you mean? I'm late.
Yeah. No, I definitely have to warm up. Otherwise, I'll probably get hurt or something.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe that's right. Yeah, maybe that's the poke in the eye. That's what.
Here we go.
I was messing up. You know, I didn't warm up.
Warmed up.
Got poked in the eye.
You got pink eye.
Don't tell the crowd, man. They can't see it.
You got poked in the eye.
You don't see the eye.
Yeah. It's pretty bad if you can zoom in at home.
100%.
It's ugly. From here. I think it even has a smell. I can smell it.
Oh yeah.
No,
what's the aroma? Pheromones? No, I'm just joking. He starts giving me. He starts winking at me over here. He's like, wait, pheromones.
Whoa, what are you talking about?
100%, man. Well, thanks for coming on the show today, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Man. So you're same weight, right? Same class as this guy. So you guys probably get a lot of attention with each other, right? You guys see each other a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely a bunch of 35ers there. I love working with Marcus and a couple of the other guys. I've been there for a long time, so definitely one of the better teammates there.
Cool. So bring us in, man. You're a professional, right? You're in the UFC.
Yeah, professional in the UFC. I think I'm gonna have my 10th fight in the UFC.
10th.
Yeah, Yeah, I had the same reaction too when I thought about it. I'm like, damn, 10 fights.
10th fight?
10th fight in the
Oh,
UFC.
congratulations, my man.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So how's the career going so far?
It's going good. Yeah, made my debut against Corey Sandhagen. Tough fight, and he's doing well right now. I think he's like, what, number 3?
Yeah, number 3.
man,
something like that.
Honestly,
You fought Sandhagen?
I thought he was number 2 or maybe 3 though. Yeah, you're right. I think he is number 3.
Well, he's doing well. He's like right there for maybe like a title shot. But yeah, went on a good little streak there. Had some injuries, little loss, but then right back onto I think 5-fight win streak right now.
Oh man!
So not even just 5-fight win streak. He's been going out there and murdering guys.
That's what's up.
And it's been super impressive. I mean, bunch of first round,
three first round finishes. So
yeah, he's been riddling them off. That and it's, for me, it's a test to just see the training. I see him working hard. Even through all the time that I've been trying to get to this position and be here, Mario's been one of those guys I've always looked up to, and Coach used to put it out there all the time, and he doesn't. And Coach doesn't say things lightly. Like I guess I said that a bunch of times. If he says something, he means it. And he'd always say, "Hey, for all you guys that are trying to be somewhere, look at what Mario's doing and do what Mario's doing." And
using you as the example,
100%. Because man, again, he works so hard, and and consistent. It's more about the consistency too. You know what I'm saying? Constantly being consistent, going after his goals and being consistent about what he's doing. And again, it's showing in every single one of his performances. I mean, he's just killing the game, man. And again, it attests to like the training that he's been doing, killing it in training. And it just, one win becomes more wins,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. And for me, like, I just want to kind of bring up like your beginning, you're originally from Nevada, right? You're originally from,
originally from northern Nevada. It's a small town called Winnemucca, Nevada. So there's like population of 10,000. So it's just pretty small town. Yeah.
Heck yeah. And then so being out there, you always were into fighting, basically into martial arts as the most part, and kind of start getting your feet wet early.
Yeah. So like around 13, I think like most of us, like we kind of get into like street fights and like kind of want to learn how to like, I guess, defend ourselves. So just started training some boxing, never did any boxing matches or anything like that, just training for it. And then eventually got into high school wrestling. And I think that's what like made it a discipline for me. Like they gave me discipline, how to work out, when to work out, pushing yourself. I think that kind of added to the boxing, and it eventually just kind of snowballed, went to some jiu-jitsu, and then eventually made my way down here to Phoenix. And that's kind of how
Phoenix? Why? Like, I'm just curious. I've been asking at least some of these guys who are going to the gym and their unique story of why or how they found.
Yeah, I was looking at a couple spots actually. I was looking at Sacramento and Phoenix, and at the time I was 20, so we were looking at Sacramento apartments. I don't know. Back then it was what, like $1,500 probably for a studio.
Yeah.
So here was a little bit cheaper. And also my girlfriend at the time, her dad lived down here. So that would be like some help.
Yeah.
First gym I went to, MMA lab, and then never went back. That was it. Yeah. So I felt comfortable there. I loved the team, coach. So kind of stuck around.
Okay.
So you're kind of one of the ones that kind of really helped with this growing part.
100%. So he was already at the lab when I got there.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was there, Kyler was there, Suge was there, and again, all of us were young, but these guys were really young.
Yeah, right.
But you're 30, 29 right now?
30 now.
30 now?
Yeah.
So I mean, these guys were
he's been at the
100%.
10 years.
Yeah. Jeez,
and we've been training. I've been training with these guys ever since then. This is long before I even planned on going to 35, because as an amateur, I fought up higher weight at 145 for a while, and then I never fought 35 as an amateur. But I always knew as an amateur I was gonna be going down to 35. Looking at these guys, I was like, bro, okay, they're making 135 pounds. Like, I got to figure this out, man. Because I'm not gonna be sitting here fighting at 45 and 55. It's not gonna work, So yeah, honestly, that's what helped me going to the gym, is running into these guys and seeing what they're doing and how they're working. And I got to learn a lot from it. Like I said, I went to one of his UFC fights, and on that same fight, Kyler was fighting and Casey was fighting on that card, right?
Oh, okay.
So I was with all three of them, all bantamweights, all at our gym fighting on the same card, right? which was awesome. You know, just to be a part of that. I got to see each one of them cut weight differently. You know what I'm saying? What they go through, how disciplined they were throughout their camp, be a part of their camp as well. A lot of those moments. So when I talk about the build up to like me getting to even being where I'm at right now, that's the moments I'm talking about, going through all these moments with these guys and seeing everything that happens outside of the 15 minutes that we're inside of the cage, you know? So yeah, it's been super big part of my building blocks. You know, it's just watching them and seeing how they've grown and how coaches have been a part of that, the gym, and just watching them do their thing. So it's been pretty awesome. So that's one thing too about the wrestling. So I didn't wrestle in high school. I always felt like I was street fighting the same way, you know, always doing that. I still did that all the way through high school, but I always felt like wrestling in high school was the thing that probably could have like dialed me in. I was just reckless, you know. I was just reckless. It's like, all right, whoever I'm with is whatever I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So I encourage people to wrestle in high school just for that essence. You know what I'm saying? I think that again, structure matters. You know what I'm saying? And you could take that structure into any part of your life and be successful just based off that structure. Give your self-discipline. You know, I feel like those type of things teach that, right? And then how to show up for yourself, all those type of things. Because on top of that, you were working the whole time up to getting into the UFC, right? Yeah.
I had that part-time job with Safe Flight. Well, at first it was full-time, and then I was making like those evening practices. But then eventually I got them to go to part-time, and then, you know, training the later half of those days, not missing those practices that we're supposed to be at. So yeah, I was doing that up until the UFC.
100%. Yeah. And that's basically how I was doing it. You know, again, like a lot of fighters, I believe, are doing it. And if they're not, they should be doing it that way, where coach is really big about, all right, you guys can't show up to morning practice? Cool. Be at every single night practice, you know? Be at every single team practice, the professional team practice. Get smacked, because, you know, the guys that are training in the morning, obviously, are going to be a little bit more fresh than you, you know, because they're getting that 2 a day. They're really putting that time in. So it's like, okay, you really get the essence of like that still competitive spirit, because not only are you not getting the extra work, but you're coming here against the guys that are doing the work. So you're in there with them. You're going through these motions, going through every emotion, you know. So it's kind of been cool to see the progression of everybody go through it too. Because I remember you showing up some days back, even back then, you know, before that. And talking about taking short notice too. Corey Sandhagen, I mean, that's crazy, you know. Even back then he was really good, you know. Like,
even when we were coming up, we all had like our eye on him, you know, coach. Like, not saying that we were gonna fight him, but like, damn, like this kid's pretty good, you know. He's gonna make it up there pretty quick. And by then he already had those tough fights with Alcantara, where he was like in that arm bar and he toughed it out and just beating these dudes. So to make that debut on a 1 week's notice was pretty crazy.
Yeah, heck yeah.
1 week's notice.
Notice. I was gonna eat dinner. I had like this big bowl of spaghetti right in front of me, and I got a call from Jason, our manager, and it was like 9 o'clock, and I was like, damn, why is he calling me so late? All right, let me go to the garage, let me talk to him real quick. And that's when they hit me up. Hey, what do you think? New York City with against Sandhagen. Fuck, dude, it was just, you know, the feeling like, damn, like, fuck yeah, like I'm ready. Oh, sorry about cussing, but I'm ready.
No, you're good.
I'm ready. So it was a pretty crazy ride back then. Yeah.
And what year was this? Sorry, this is 10 years ago, right? So
no. This was 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
I think I think it's coming up on 5 years. So
5 years ago. Wow.
It's crazy because it does not feel like it's been that long, but man. No. I know it has. It's crazy how fast time just passes, you know. A lot of good moments though. A lot of good moments, but that's why it feels like it hasn't been that long. Like,
well, it seems like your years, I mean, a fighter's year, if you don't mind me, just from the outside, looks like it's broken up so many times, right? You have your camp, you have the preparation, all this other stuff, but then you have that short little window where you're enjoying life, if you will, not really like, you know, saying you're doing completely bad things, but you're living life. But then you immediately go back to, like, you know, what you're wired to right now, your discipline, your edge, you're trying to get better. You're trying to, like, you know, you're thinking about your opponent, like, what's he doing right now? Like, you know, that kind of stuff. So in my opinion, it goes by faster for you because you have so many things going on. It's not your normal day-to-day stuff because, even if you do have a part-time job, you're still putting yourself, you're overexerting yourself in like your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If that doesn't sound too bad. So that's when you say like 5 years ago, to me, I'm like, man, 5 years ago, like that was quite a bit ago. Like I'm thinking about it, and you guys like, oh man, it was so fast. Like,
Yeah.
well, for your guys' life, yeah.
Yeah, because
Like,
we live like fight to fight, you know. So
Exactly.
like you fight, have a month to, you know, do things with your family, you know, for yourself. Then you're back into camp getting better. Or not even necessarily camp, you're just in there getting better. And then you go into a camp, and that's 8 weeks or 6 weeks, fight, repeat, rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And then, by the time you know it, 5 years has passed, and you're just like, damn. It goes.
how many times have you? Yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, you've had 10 professional fights in 5 years. That's, I don't know, average, if you will, two a year, right?
Yeah. And honestly, yeah, that's still great though. Yeah. Cause I mean, honestly, when you think about the average UFC career is what, a year and like something like that. The average UFC career
Is it really
100%. That's the
that
average
low?
UFC
That
career.
low?
It's that low. You
Okay.
know, like it's one thing. That's why I always say it's one thing to get to the UFC. It's a whole nother thing to stay in the UFC,
Stay in it,
stay
yeah.
competitive. Because again, like from the outside in, it's not like a lot of these other sports. You know, the injury levels that we deal with are immensely more serious than other these sports. You know, it just is what it is. And again, I mean, that's a conversation that multiple people could have, but like we have to train so vigorously, you know, and we're constantly going through injury issues on top of the fight is so hard, you know, like luckily enough, you can riddle off first round finishes, but then you go those 3-round wars, you know, it's not always going to be that way. Even in the first round victory, you might go out there, smoke a guy, but you break your hand. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, you never know, you know? So in our world, you know, that's a lot of fighting, you know, and that's a lot of fighting at the highest level, you know, to have
100%.
10 fights in the UFC. I mean, it's a feat. It really is, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just hard because again, like a lot of other sports aren't the same way. Like, you know, football, they play 30 games in the season or something, you know,
16
like,
games, yeah.
16 games
19 games if you get
Their
there.
contracts are usually like 2-year, 3-year contracts, you know, so it's like, it's a little bit different than us, you know, than how things are structured for us in particular.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to piggyback off, I guess, kind of what you were saying earlier with like the wrestling and everything like that, with kind of, I don't know, I guess having more well-round, kind of like he has that background, you don't. You feel like that's kind of like well, at least for you, do you feel like that's an edge? Like you said, you got to earlier start on being disciplined. And I guess from my side is all the wrestlers I grew up with, especially from a small town, all of my cousins wrestled. I didn't. My best friend, all these guys, wrestlers. And it seems like they just approach life a little bit different. And I don't know. I mean, I believe it's an edge because they know, well, one, team first, but also self. The structure, how to lose weight. And then, I don't know, it just seems like you guys always just are more mechanical. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like a quote I heard a lot during wrestling was like, everything after wrestling in life is easy, you know, because you know how to get through it. You know how to push yourself, you know, when things get hard, you lose, but you just keep on trying. You know, I've kind of built that mentality from my high school wrestling. And luckily I had like great coaches that, you know, they cared about us, the way they spoke to us, or to me specifically, I guess, that kind of like really, you know, gave me confidence in myself and to really believe in myself. So I've been using that all the way up until this point and trying to perfect that mentality.
I got you.
For me, yeah.
Yeah. And so, if you don't mind me leading into kind of what's next, right? I mean, you're still pursuing your, if you don't mind me, like, are we allowed to talk about ranks and everything like that?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. So so where are you ranked and kind of where's your current status in your career?
So this fight that I'm fighting is going to be for a top 15 spot. So the guy, Ricky Simone, he's number 12 or 13. So it's just something I've been working towards, and another step, you know, trying to get into that top 15 and kind of cement myself there, and then obviously move forward from there.
I got you. So once you kind of solidify yourself in this top 15, I guess this is kind of like, are you able to like, you know, kind of like ask for those fights? So you win this, you move into the top 15. Are you allowed to, I guess, kind of be like, I want number 6 or I want number 7? Like, you know, does that kind of how it works, or is you kind of got to play a waiting game? How does that kind of go?
Well, my idea is like you get into that top 15 and the number of opponents gets slimmer, you know? So once you're outside the top 15, it could just be whoever, you know, top 15, you know, who's in front of you, what fights can get you to the top the fastest, or, you know, what path you need to take. So that's why I want to be in the top 15. So I know which fights to take next to get closer and closer.
I got you. So this will be your first time in the top 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a long time coming, I think, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And when's your fight?
January 13th. Yeah.
Same card as this guy.
Me and Marcus. Yeah.
Oh man, you gotta be traveling together.
Dude, I can't wait. It's gonna be some
January
good
13th.
energy.
Maybe we got these
100%.
two lined up. Whoa.
No, it's gonna be dope, dude. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna party. So, oh man, I'm excited. I'm gonna be wearing pom poms and everything. I'm gonna have to get like your face here, over there, both your faces.
Marcus
Like,
got
whoa,
it up
yeah.
shirt. Yeah. Hey
All
man,
right.
that might be a play, man. You trying to plug it? Or what? No,
I
I'm just-
might.
No,
No, that's cool, man. Yeah, congratulations. That's gonna be great. So who are you fighting one more time?
Ricky Simone. So he's been, I want to say he's been in the top 10, top 15 for years now, you know, and he's been there for a while. Like, you know, he's had like his chances to move forward, but hasn't gotten past those opponents. So he's just hanging out there. So
I got you.
Really tough opponent though. Like
sure.
I'm not looking past him at all. So
which
Yeah.
is still, that's what I was saying. Still, I mean, that's impressive to be even to sit in that space, right?
Yeah.
It's still impressive. Like inside, like you have all these people that don't fight, that really aren't fighters. That maybe took 2 or 3 classes. That would be like, oh, he's a journeyman. You know, that's what they'll call a guy who sits in the top 15. Cool. Call me a journeyman. I'm sitting in the top 15
In the world?
best fighters in the whole world.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm cool.
I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean? Like, not that I want to sit there, but you're talking about fighting. Like, and these people don't understand, like, you know, they don't understand what fight. Like, it goes so much deeper than people's understanding. So it's frustrating. But actually, Ricky Simone fought on the same card as me. So that was my debut. I fought
really?
Jerry Newsom, his team.
Oh.
Because
yeah.
Jerry Newsom, his teammate. I thought he was his teammate or something.
I feel like
that.
they're from the same area, but
That's
I
where we
wasn't
heard
sure.
him from. We were
Yes.
talking about that
So
the other day. I'm like, where did this?
He fought
this
that
name.
main. He was the main event on that.
I got
card.
you. Okay.
So he fought
Was it Song?
Yeah, he
Song.
fought
Oh yeah.
Song.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I remember seeing him around and
That's
everything
right.
like that. And yeah, just, you know, he seems like a good dude too, you know. and
We were
everything
literally
like that.
talking about that the other day. We're like, name sounds familiar. So he was the main fight on the card that you debuted on.
Yeah, I actually seen him a couple times. He fought on that Houston card with Kyler too. Kyler was fighting on that card, and he was fighting on that, or maybe he wasn't fighting on that card. Maybe somebody else was in there, and he was there to cut weight. Because I remember seeing him. That when me and Kyler were in the middle. We just got done doing one of our practices, and I remember seeing him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you two are not too far out from jumping into camp to prepare for this card, right? And so you're kind of, I mean, I don't know if you don't mind me kind of doing like preliminary stuff to get ready for fight camp. I mean, are you guys kind of like in I don't know, maybe a couple weeks out? Are you like, we're in this gray area where you're like, you just want to be in camp already, or are you enjoying your time out of it still? Like, how does that work?
I'm sure he feels the same way. Like for me, I feel like it's almost the same thing, right? Like, and I feel like that's what we try to push, right? The only thing that changes is like there's inside of camp, everything becomes dialed in, right?
Okay.
But before camp, I'm still trying to get better. So like I'm still doing strength conditioning. I'm still doing strength training. I'm still doing wrestling. We're still training to get better and be better. So that when we start camp, now it's time to up everything, right?
Got you.
Have my best conditioning that I can have.
Yep.
Know what the tactics that we might use, you know, understand my opponent, all those types of things just get more dialed in.
Yeah.
But the plan is not to jump in the camp to get ready for the fight. The plan is to get ready for the fight and then jump in the camp and get, you know, and be precise.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like for me, it's just checking off all these boxes, like what I want to do in this fight, mentally preparing. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I need to work on this outside of camp, and then once I got all those, and not to make too much, you know, changes or anything. Then once I got those in place, then once camp comes in, I'm just then starting to redline everything. You know, shorten up practices a little bit, but then starting to redline everything.
Got you.
And kind of prepare for the fight. So
Yeah. And so where's this one going to be, this fight?
Vegas, the Apex Center.
Okay, Apex again?
Yeah.
All right. Man, I'm excited for you guys. It's going to be so great, man.
No, it really is, man. And honestly, I've been asking to fight with a teammate anyways, so that sounds good because they fought on the 19th. I fought on the 12th too. And then they fought in Boston. I was like, man, I would have been dope to be on that one with them too.
Yeah.
So, and then, once we both got this one, I was like, all right, bet that sounds good.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to fight again in December is when I think you were trying to fight December too. We both wanted one more before the end of the year. But January is a good way to start the year off too.
Yeah.
And fighting on the same card is pretty sick. So I'm pretty excited about it for sure.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, I'm just, I'm enamored. I'd say like, be considered a professional when you do it for at least 5 years. You have that, you put that time in, and then now you going into the double digit, at least being in the UFC. I mean, just kind of shows at least your dedication, your sacrifice to, I don't know, I wouldn't say like the rest of the world, but your life, but also what you gain from it too. Like, it's honestly from my side of the seat just freaking badass, because I get to say like, yeah, I hung out with this guy who's been in UFC for 10 years. What's up? Like that, you know what I'm saying? That and being a professional for that long, or 10 fights, I'm sorry. And it just shows, like, I mean, if I could tell people like sitting here on this table, they're putting off a different aura over here, and it's
radiating chi. Radiating chi.
Yeah, right. But it's exciting, man. I mean, I don't know, for me to be like fangirling, I guess, like, if you will, and I'd like honestly, it helps with a lot of the things that I'm doing and going through right now, because I mean, when you're talking about fight camp, you're talking about this, and then I'm just thinking in my head of what you put into the lab to, like what he's saying. You were already there. You set the foundation for these guys. The reason why he's able to take a step further is because you kind of went through the muck and the mud as well, and you're the one that's like, part of that first group that, like, we had in here with Memories of the Assassin, Randy, and just kind of what he was saying and what he was going through. And so is this kind of something you're going to want to stick around for a while? Like, you don't want to, like, I mean, we're talking if we can go into the future. I mean, are you going to want to coach? You going to?
No, I think I definitely want to give it back, because, the same way, like, the guys that were there before me that inspired me, like Benson, Randy, Yachty Mesa, Luke, these guys that would just like beat me up,
Luke Saunders, yeah.
And it's kind of molded me into like who I am now. So hopefully I can kind of give back to, some, especially my team, if I can give back to some of those guys and get them to where they want to be, man, I would love that. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, is there kind of like anyone right now? Cause like we had on Ezra, right? And Suge kind of took him on along on the fights and stuff like that. Are you recognizing some of that in your, like in some of your classes and stuff? Is there a few guys that you're kind of knowing that are noticing you? Cause he had a few. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So Suge took Ezra over there too, and Ezra's one of those up and comers too. He's been giving us a whole lot of work. We've been giving him a whole lot of work as well. He's one of those guys that have taken up like the same type of thing, like following that efficient schedule of training and going after what he wants. And then like Betche's been going really hard too. Coyote, we have so many guys. So it's always hard, and it's hard as far as the fight goes too, right? Because like we want to have guys in our corner. If we can take guys, it's cool, especially if it's beneficial, But we want to have guys in our corner that are going to necessarily help us with that fight, so that we can trust her and fight week to keep us going. That we can, So that's one of those things that I think it just plays based fight to fight a little bit.
I got you.
Too,
So you pick that each time.
Yeah, but even outside of camp more so, I feel like that's what like outside of camp, outside of our fights too, doing more to help these guys get to their goals. Like again, the whole fight taking rounds with anybody, a lot of that came from Mario too. You have Mario, Benson, Chris Grismarker when he was around, like just giving rounds out like as much as I can to any of the guys. Doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if I'm in camp or not. It doesn't matter if I'm about to start camp. It's like, hey, I need you to be here for this Wednesday because I need this guy who needs rounds. It's like, all right, bet. I'm going to come there because that's helping him, and I'm going to give him the look of the guy he's fighting, right? I'm not going to come in there and try to beat him up. I'm not going to come in there and try to hurt him. I'm going to give him the look of the guy he's fighting, and we're also going to fight so that he's getting ready for that type of things. But like, that's one thing I think it just separates, right? Because a lot of guys are like, no, I'm not a karate guy. Or no, I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy. I'm not this guy. I'm not going to give you that look. Instead of going, no, I'm going to give you the best look that I can as the guy that you're going to fight, regardless of how it makes me look in this round.
Yeah.
I
got you.
And in turn, like that can make you even better, like, oh, hey, can you jump in? He has a southpaw guy. And I'm like, I'm not southpaw, but I'll go ahead and try. And you keep doing that throughout his camp. And then by the end of his camp, you go back into your regular training and like, hey, I feel pretty good southpaw now. Like, oh, I picked up something from like,
that's tight. Just
changing, just trying to help someone out and, give them a good look. And then you end up benefiting from it too. So yeah, I just love being there for the teammates and everything too. So
100%. And that's the selfish part that I've learned too about it, because it ends up being selfish a little bit too, because I'm like, that's one of the reasons why it's great that you bring that, because that's one of the reasons why I'm willing to do that, right? If you're telling me to go be a karate guy and I don't do karate, and I go out there and I do decent karate things and I'm really sticking to that for 5-minute rounds in a 6-week camp, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna learn
something. Yeah.
Like I got my arm ran over and my tendons tore up in my right hand. I started using my left hand. Everyone thinks I'm a southpaw. Like,
oh yeah,
everybody thinks I'm southpaw, but I'm really orthodox. But I had that whole 9 months where I literally just left hand, you know, and I feel good with my left hand, you know, and I feel like I'm ambidextrous in my hands. But again, it's finding those benefits and instead of sticking to certain things, it kind of opening your mind. So yeah, it's like, yeah, I love helping the team, but at the end of the day, when you help, it's almost like it's real. When you help others, you help yourself.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, with I guess kind of outside, all I know is street fights, and then you guys are registered assassins. It's very interesting to hear. Very like like captivating to hear. You know what I'm saying? So I guess what else? If you don't mind me, so wrestling. You started in high school. What else have you kind of jumped into that you really?
Well, that was pretty much it. So after wrestling, after high school, I guess, I just was looking for something to do. You know, I didn't want to. I had a dream of like, you know, going to the UFC and training and everything. I didn't want to get a job.
So it was automatic right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I found a jiu-jitsu school.
Jiu-jitsu.
And then I think like 2 months later, that's when I took my first amateur fight. And then I was just trying to rattle them off as fast as I could. I was taking fights like, I think I started in June, my first amateur, and then by December I had already done 4. So I was just trying to get it going as fast as possible, you know. And then my gym ended up getting shut down up there, so that's when we decided to either move to Sacramento or Phoenix, and that's when we made that move. So, and like I said, I just joined immediately with the lab, and it's been the same thing ever since, you know, 10 years.
Yeah. So when you say like you're Orthodox, people think you're Southpaw. Like, do you have to register that?
So they put it on paper.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because we see that all the time.
Yeah, they'll put it on paper. They'll say like they'll put it down Southpaw or Orthodox. But like I don't think I ever actually like put it down on paper. I don't know if that's a question to ask.
Yeah, I feel like it's like when it'll ask fighting style, and like I think I just put freestyle.
Yeah.
I think next time I'm put war. War, baby.
War, baby.
Dog. Yeah.
Put the baby behind it too. War, and then baby capitalized, and then exclamation
I've
point.
always wondered about that. So thanks for clarifying. Because I'm like, I seen that on yours too. So I'm like, what do you put? Like, or like, what classifies that?
So actually, I've been putting Paragon Striking on there just because I know that's running thing. And honestly, like I haven't really necessarily been inside of like belting with Paragon Striking, but I've been training with Randy. He was one of the persons that got me to the MMA lab over there. Because again, I was jumping from gym to gym, and it's my story is really similar, man. Like I had the instead of the middle, because I had my first year fighting when I was at the UFC gym. I took 5 fights that year, but some of them are unsanctioned fights, you know. But I took 5 fights that year, and then the next year I fought twice, and then the next year I fought once, and then I didn't fight for 3 years, you know. But it's kind of crazy. Like I was like driving, but again, like that just goes to show like the mental toughness too. Because I can make all the excuses in the world. Like I had all these things happen to me, but I didn't stay mentally focused on my goal. Because I started training when I was 22 years old, and that first year I was like, bro, I didn't even think about the UFC at the time. But I was like, bro, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be a pro. I'm gonna get into this thing. You know, take 5 fights. You know, think I'm gonna do this thing and then fall off. You know, and it's just kind of interesting to see how, like, I believe the same thing. I think wrestling and there's other things that are similar, but wrestling is one of those ones that you can't deny. You look around a lot of wrestlers, it just builds a certain level of grit, determination, and discipline, right? Discipline. Can't speak about it enough. Motivation is one thing. Discipline is a whole nother thing.
Oh, man.
You know, and it just breeds that discipline to get up and get going every single day. And I would say you're the most disciplined man that I've been around, you know, and for me in particular, you have been one of the guys for sure. So even fighting in the car with us, like it's super cool for me on that side too, because like I've watched you be disciplined. I've watched you stick to the plan, you know, and to see you accomplishing everything you're accomplishing has just been it's been nice to be on the side of it. So it'd be cool to go in there and fight on the same card as you, go put this guy away, and then watch you do the same thing with Ricky. So I'm excited about it, man.
No, it's been awesome, guys. It's been awesome to see you, like Leslie, like Coach says it behind my back, like you just do what Mario does, and then I see you guys like go to strength conditioning, mitts, doing all the things I do. So when I see you guys get ready for fights and like go in, I have like the utmost confidence, not like you guys are going to win, but I know you guys have put in that effort and work, and that's all that matters to me. I'll always be proud of you guys. Like as long as you put in the work, give it 100%, like who cares what happens, at that point, like you guys are going to win. So
100%, it's already a win just based off of that work, right?
100%.
I feel you. And so that's been one of the things I've taken away from you in particular, because that's one thing I said that to Roderick, because Roderick just took his first loss as an amateur, and he was pretty beat up about it in the back, but I told him, I was like, bro, we watch you put all that work into this camp. Nothing changed except for you're going back. Nothing changed. You're going back to practice on Monday. If you won it, you're going to practice on Monday. If you lost it, you're going to practice on Monday. Like that's the important part of it. You know what I'm saying? The important part of it is that diligence behind what we're doing, making sure you're putting in the effort. So I feel the same way. I feel like, honestly, I've been saying it, like the win is great. I want to win. I plan to win. But I plan to show up for myself every single day throughout the whole camp and give everything to myself and to my team. And I can deal with whatever happens after that.
100%. Yeah. You could live with whatever happens after. Like like I said, with me, if I put in all the work, I did everything I could. Now it's just rolling the dice and like, I'm ready, like my shit's loaded.
100%.
So,
that's weirdly that's weirdly
loaded.
funneling into my side of life too, like way outside of fighting. Obviously this business side is that we've been getting a lot of different perspectives on a lot of different things, regardless of how like the tap room turns out or how much money's made or anything like that. It's regardless of what happens, you said win or loss, I've seen the work, everything that you went through, all the dedication, all the things you sacrificed. And like you said, if it's a loss, well, for our side, if it's a fail fast. Like, that's what I was told the other day. If you're going to fail fast and move on to the next one. And this concept owner, he was just like, my first business compared to now, or my first concept to now to my 13th. And he's like, the mountain I climbed, like, the valleys I've gone through. And he's like, the number 13 is 100% better than number 1. It always will be. And he's like, because you keep going. And weirdly, he said that too. He kept showing up for himself. He kept showing up for his family. He kept doing the things that were right. So it didn't necessarily mean that, like, he has to be the greatest concept owner in the world. The people that are surrounded him are impacted. His daughters love him. He's given himself a chance to be out there into the public eye and be like, like, I'm gonna provide. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put myself out there. And it's weirdly funneling into my side, just I guess kind of like on the backside when you just said it now, you're like, I'm sorry, you said it. Win, lose, draw, whatever. See you Monday. Mm-hmm. That's still the same thing here. We have a bum ass weekend. We had a big event. Maybe it failed.
See you Monday.
See you Monday, dog.
Yep.
Yeah. And
we gotta do something with that.
See you Monday. Yeah.
See you Monday.
Yeah.
Coach
That's
says
a good
that.
one.
Coach says that too all the time, and he always says that. Like, come back that first Monday, And I at first I was kind of like, man, like what?
Why?
But over time it was like, oh.
It's more than just
because it's like, see you Monday whether you win or lose, so that even when you win, see you Monday, so the work's not done, so we're not getting too heavy high. You're not. I feel like it goes back to not having too many highs, not having too many lows.
Yeah.
Especially when I would say business, anything that you're putting your all into, anything that your work rides on, right? Anything that you're doing like that in life, if you're putting your all into it, I think you have to kind of take that concept in mind so that you don't let it knock you down, because life will knock you down in any of those things, right? You plan to win and then you don't, you know? And if you soak in it too long, then it's a problem. Then you plan to win and you win, and then you party for too long and it's a problem, right?
And then it's an issue,
It's a double-edged sword, See you Monday.
You know what, man? I'm liking this. The more we're saying it, like, obviously I know you guys have had that.
100%.
Like that's your coach's thing. But
we don't say it enough, man. I'm gonna take it.
I'm gonna take it from myself too. Like,
he's like, no, patent it.
No, I'm taking it first. MMA left.
Yeah,
No, just kidding.
it's patented. He's like, yeah, you guys could.
Yeah, now you gotta. No, just kidding. Yeah, right. They have a bunch of you lined up at my door. Yeah, right.
100%. He's like, you guys can lease this from me if you want. I'm gonna chase this new goal.
No, but the cause of the saying, I guess we're not saying it on the aspect enough for at least myself, what that truly means. It can mean everything or just one thing.
100%.
Like, how many times I don't know, I'm sure you've done this, but this place has kicked my ass so many times. Like, sometimes even rolling the window down without music is too much noise. Like sometimes that, like, my ass got kicked so much, like I don't even want to, like, I'm driving home and I'm like, I'd rather walk. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still moving too fast right now.
100%.
And that's probably one thing about even right now with the marriage with me and Adriana, kind of things we're going through is even she said, she's like, we can't stop moving, because we sat there on the couch probably just like, woe is me, feel bad, do whatever. And it gets worse. Yeah. It honestly does. You sit there in your own shit, and I don't know, I'm gonna like tattoo this on me or something like that. See you Monday. But it's meaning a lot because then, I mean, how many times, I mean, even for him, 10 fights, how many times you show up next Monday or the Monday after, right? And for you, through your life or like what you're building right now, all the family shit you're going through, you still know that there's a different goal than what they're doing. You're still showing up the next day.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I think it is a way to keep yourself pushed, keep yourself going. And it just keeps, again, I think it keeps you from the highs and the lows, right? Because the highs and the lows are what kill us, because we'll let our highs get us out of position, right? And then we experience the lows and then we're stuck in the lows too, opposed to just letting life play its way out. Because again, what you're going through, everything going on here at the Seltzer, what we're going through on a regular basis in our fighting career, and then everybody, I think it goes into every single thing. So it plays a part. And I think that all plays a part. I think doing hard things and possibly failing at those hard things makes it easier for you to deal with other things that you're going to do that are hard and that you're going to possibly fail at. Yeah. You can deal with it better. You can come back from it better. You can not let yourself fall in. Because a lot of the mistakes I made in life were like, oh, I already messed up on A. Now I'm going to FB, FC, FT, FE, even though I could take care of all of those. Yeah. I remember not being able to pay a bill, right? And be like, oh, because I can't pay that bill, I'm not paying the rest of these bills, like, what? Yeah. Don't pay that bill and go pay all the rest of your bills, bro. Like, what are you talking about, right? But again, it just all plays into play. So, I think it matters, man. I think it's a big thing. And I mean, if anybody can take anything from that, I hope that they do take that. And I hope to keep the same mentality. And that's why I haven't necessarily let it get too crazy. And when they do ask me like, oh, has everything changed? I'm like, yeah, but not really. No, nothing's changed. Like, everything stays the same. Like the You're level. Just
improving that stuff that you.
I'm just improving. We're just improving, right? We're in our improving stage, and the competition happens. And life to be the same thing. Competition happens. After competition, back to improving. Improving is always going to be there as long as we draw breath.
Yeah. Well, and then even the stuff that you maybe had to go back on because, like, maybe now, like, you guys, like, big UFC fighter, they think you're just moving on, but you're actually going back and fixing the stuff that you had to, that you weren't focused on before, right? I mean, like, you're talking about bills you couldn't pay, this and that. Maybe going back and simplifying your life is actually probably the greatest improvement that you can have or do, is to simplify your life and get the things done right. Focus on your marriage, focus on being a father, taking care of your house, doing all this, like, and becoming a better friend. Then you're like, I'm living the most high life I've ever had. And those highs really don't come from that.
For all the extra shit. I love that.
Yeah. It's coming from the stuff that truthfully are setting the groundwork for your life. Yeah. I mean, cause I see you over there, you got one.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. Like, it could be pretty hard. You invest a lot of time into this sport, and sometimes, like, for me personally, sometimes you forget to invest it in other areas, that kind of build everything else outside of your life of fighting. So it gets kind of tough, even for me, like, I have to try to apply this mindset that I have for MMA, for fighting. I need to try to apply it a little bit more into kind of like my personal life and everything. And so, and I know I can, it's just, MMA takes a lot, especially at this level. For me, it gets a little tough. So
for sure. And so I'd see that you're married, right?
Yeah.
How long you been married for?
5 years. Yeah.
5 years. Oh man. So when you kind of took your,
yeah. So my wife was pregnant. Well, she was my girlfriend at the time. She was pregnant. We got married, and then my daughter was born like 2 months later. And 3 months after that, that's when I got the call for the UFC. So at that time, I was thinking like, damn, like,
you had a whirlwind of life experience going on, man.
How am I going to like support my family? You know, I need to be here. I'm having a baby on the way. You know, like you get your first baby, like, you know, you want to obviously provide. So I was like, all right, I'm going to wait till next year to do a contender series. And if I don't get on contender series or get to the UFC, I'm just going to have to, you know, focus on my family. Mm-hmm. And then that's when I got the call for that short notice, like 3 months later, you know, so 7 months ahead of time. And I lost. Obviously, you got to pay out everyone. I'm left with about $6,000. I quit my job and get back to training and then take my second fight. So my second fight was against Jinsu's son, who lost against Peter Yan, another killer, you know. Wow. So I lost against Corey Sandhagen. He lost against Peter Yan, and they match us up against each other, both for our second fight in the UFC. Wow. And we all know if you lose your second fight, you're probably done. Mm-hmm. So we had a war. You know, it was one of like my favorite fights. We went back and forth. We both wanted it. And then at the end of the fight, I won. And then that's when I got my full pay, 2 paychecks, and a $50,000 bonus. Dang. So man, dude, that was just like, I seen the 50,000. I just laid back on my bed. Like, holy shit! Like, this is crazy. Like, this is exactly what I worked for. I trusted it. I could have quit, you know, way earlier, like $6,000. Like, I'll just quit, or even beforehand. Mm-hmm. So and that's just the thing about being consistent, like just being true to yourself and believing that it'll all work out and shit. So
yeah, well, believing in yourself, knowing what you're doing, and giving yourself the best chance regardless.
I always say, why not anybody though, right? Yeah. Like that's one thing I say to myself. Why not me? Why not you? Why not you? Mm-hmm. You know, it's a accumulation of our daily decisions, right? Yeah. If we make those daily decisions like we're supposed to, why don't we have a shot?
Yeah.
You know, and why can't we live that type of lifestyle? Why can't we do the things that we want to do, especially if it's coming from like a good place in the heart where you want to provide, you want to step into the shoes of what you're supposed to, you know, especially like, again, coming up for me, like we didn't really have much. We didn't have a whole lot of role models. I had a few role models that I look up to, my grandfather, my Uncle Mike. And those are the real solid ones that I was like, bro, like when it comes time for me to step into my shoes, I want to be able to step in my shoes like they do, you know. 100%. I want to be able to provide for my family, provide for my friends, provide whatever is necessary, provide for myself too, you know. And so it was, I felt the same way when I got that, you know. On the opposite side for me, I was like, damn, man, I already went and dead. All this other money, this is gone. But I was still like, the other part of me was like, all right, well, I at least got this money to pay a lot. I'm nowhere near as far as back as I was, you know.
Yeah.
But it felt the same way, like, damn, you know, like crazy, man. Like, all right, all this hard work, all these things have been going, and, you know, it was a blessing to be able to get to that, back to this point where it's like, okay, we got into the UFC. We've had 2 good fights, you know, and we've paid back a lot of things that we owed. We have some money. We've been focusing on just fighting, what we planned on doing. We can focus on the family, you know, like I'm not. So now it's just like, how do we build off of that too? You know, how do we keep going now? How do we build a better structure for them? How do we start being more a part of our family? You know, because again, like MMA takes a lot. So like, we're not really trying to miss days. We're not trying to go out with our families. We're not trying to be out with them doing things, because we live a strict lifestyle, right? And the stricter we live that lifestyle, the better it is for us, because we can be more disciplined in what we're doing. And for me, my family's not into it at all, you know? So like, they're going to be doing whatever they're doing constantly. I still got to find time to be able to make those relationships in my family. You know, I still got to find time to be the strong individual in my family like I want to, you know, without letting myself be drawn into the things that are not going to continue to create the path that I want to create for them, you know? Right. So it becomes one of those things where it's like, how do we take this and add it back into our personal life, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that you live a strict lifestyle. You basically are your own safety net. 100%. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like you were talking about before, you mentioned it, like, you know, you could prepare the whole time. You prepare for everything, and something can happen. It could be a slip and you can get caught. And how do you prepare for either way? If you do get caught, what's the next step? You don't, and you're the one who actually catches them. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to become your own safety net, regardless of whatever it is. It's still
not come get nachos when I want them.
exactly. And you kind of like, you know, still right in your own path. And that's probably the number one thing is it's a lifestyle you're living, you know? Yeah.
It really is. And those nachos are good.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know you haven't had them. Yeah,
oh, yeah. Sorry, don't talk about that. This guy's like, when you talking, he's like staring at you. He's like, what do you mean nachos, bro?
Honestly, the other night, Amanda, my wife, and the kids talked me into coming over here, man. And luckily we got here and it was shut down that day. Yeah. I was like, thank goodness, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Thank goodness, because I was going to go in once they talked me into going, because I'm like, I'm not going to come and then be like, oh, give me a salad, you know? I'm like, man, let me get the truffle french fries. Let me get the full order of the nachos, chicken sandwich. Like, let's go, man. We're eating tonight. That's the worst part about it too, because I think that's one thing I had to realize too, is like, I never had a chance to really do that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, now I'm not letting myself do it, you know? Like, man, there was never been a time in my life where I was like, bro, I could really order some stuff on this menu, you know? Like, I think that's been my biggest vice. It's like, man, that, you know, those garlic knots, I'm down for those too, you know?
No, that's how it was. I think I went to Topgolf the other day. Anyways, like 2 appetizers, the burger, everything. I was just like, just doing too much, you know? By the night, like I was just kind of hurting. But yeah, like, when back in the day, I would never be able to do that. You know, I'd have, appetizers $15. Come on, dude. I'll just, we'll just get that. We'll share it with everyone. Yeah, like, no, now that's mine. I'll get you your own. You know, you can have this.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you're getting that for the table? No, if you guys want some, I'll get you guys one too. But like that full appetizer is mine.
No, I mean, just to kind of close this one up, man. Both of you. I mean, wish you guys the best.
Wish you the best too,
man. This January 13th, right? Yeah. This thing's going to be stacked hard. Make sure to tune in. We got both of these guys lined up. It's going to be, it's going to be sick.
Heck yeah. You want to let the guys know where they can find you on social media?
Instagram, Mario_Bautista MMA. And then you could find all my links there. You can find me.
100%. Yeah, follow this man. This man's a savage. Maniac McGhee on all platforms. You'll find me. I'm the only Maniac McGhee. I think this is the only Battleborn. You know what I'm saying?
Battleborn.
Can't take none of them.
Battleborn Maniac. That's tight. And I'm at Brett Anthony M, y'all. Thank you. Appreciate you. Hey, all right. Battleborn.
Heck yeah. Yeah, no, that's good.
Jumping jacks. You got to do them.
Oh, yeah.
Cameraman.
Military status.
I know, yeah. Look at this guy, man. He's stiff. Look at those muscles flexing.
That's why.